welcome back to the Free Brain Podcast. Today's guest is Colin Huggins, an iconic and beloved street artist who has been bringing his grand piano to Washington Square Park for almost 20 years. Join us as we chat about his creative journey, the struggles he's faced, and how he challenges our perception of reality. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Let's dive in.
I'm ready to start talking.
Awesome.
If you're ready to start talking.
We're rolling.
So, one of the things. So I was saying that I didn't want to talk about negativity, and there's actually a better reason. Positivity is amazing. I don't understand what negativity is. I don't really understand why it's in our lives or why it seems like so difficult to get rid of, or even its purpose. But positivity is amazing, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about the Kickstarter video that we did is that so that was a video that we did where we were collaborating. I love when you can bring two different kind of artists together who have a different skill set, and they can both create something together but explore it in their own way. So when you were going and interviewing people who were laying underneath the piano, you came up with your own question set. I kind of told you the general idea, and you kind of I remember walking over and you were like, okay, there are two more questions I want to get. So it was like you're kind of creating your own kind of architecture of how you were going to kind of get these people's emotional experience.
To get the message along that this piano is meaningful to people, it creates a benefit to society, and it's not just some person's egotistical kind of selfishness that they want a new piano. It's like it gives back to the community, and this is how.
Well, and I mean, more importantly, is it a lot of times when I collaborate with people, I'll just be like, okay, you're doing this and this and this, and they they come in, they get paid $200 to do their job, and it's this and this and this.
Sure.
But you created your own interpretation of how it was to be done, and when two people are collaborating and they can kind of do this dance where they're both working both independently, and in respect for each other's work, you create something really amazing. It means that there's freedom, but there's also a kind of adherence to the project. Anyways, that's one of the reasons why I thought that one was particularly amazing. And then after I got the piano, going to the park for me is kind of like a miserable thing. And when I got the piano, I was excited to go to the park again. And again, that positive energy, then kind of amplified out through the performances. Anyways, positive energy is this amazing thing. So it started with that collaboration of you and I working independently, and then it kind of just developed and grew into this into a whole other thing. Anyways, and I think you can see that in a lot of different projects, whether it's making movies or albums or whatever, where the positive energy creating something kind of like mushrooms, and it grows into something completely different and amazing.
Absolutely.
Anyways, do you know of any projects that you can think of that are similar?
Well, how about the opera singers under the arch that you played piano and they sang, and if you take that more generally, more abstractly, anytime two musicians get together, they bring different instruments, but they could riff off of each other and create beautiful art that way.
So the thing I would bring up with that,
of course,
when working with singers, as an accompanist, sometimes when you see singers and accompanists work together in a practice room, they'll be yelling at each other, and it's usually the pianist. It's kind of laying down the law, and I found that the best thing to do with singers, and I've actually applied this to a lot of other areas, you tell them that they're awesome, you're amazing, you're beautiful, people love you, your voice is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, and it gives them this feeling of being really supported and loved and excited,
accepted,
and and their voice becomes then more confident and better, and it feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel scared or anxious. It feels like I don't know, like cradled and lifted up.
Yeah.
And I found you can apply that to other areas, and it's one of the reasons, again, like, why I didn't want to talk about negativity, because when I get negative, I actually do the opposite of that, which is like I look at, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I hate that. I wish I never would do such a thing.
So we've known each other for about 10 years now. And over the years, one of the things that I really...
When I met you, you had a cane. You were like,
Yes.
you had like a hip operation or something like that?
Yeah, I had a hip replacement 5 years ago.
Yikes.
I had arthritis. It's a long story. I was born with hip dysplasia, so it's not like perfectly round hips. So when I did like MMA, I did sports and stuff, ran track, I like wore out the cartilage.
Yikes. Oh.
And I tried to wait as long as possible to do the replacement because, if you're too young or whatever, they didn't want to do it. They told me to wait. But the thing that I really, really admire about you and I can relate to is that you're always trying to give back to people. Like, you care about the good of humanity, and you're such a generous and kind soul. And it's just amazing to me, your journey growing up in Georgia, being born,
Shitty place.
living in Boston, playing for the ballet company, moving to New York City, playing, ballet and teaching, and at the same time playing in the park, bringing your piano, to the subway. Like, it's just so mind-blowing. I guess everyone wants to know, just briefly, because you've said this a million times already, what's your process like to bring the piano to the park?
Oh, I mean, it's whatever. I guess I don't think of that as anything that contributes much to the positive experience. It doesn't. When I think about moving the piano,
that wasn't my question, but it was
thank goodness.
I just want to kind of brush over that just for a second, just because people are like, "Oh my God, how does he do it?"
It's kind of like, listen, this podcast is amazing, but listen, how did you get here, bro? How did you get here? Like, did you take the train?
Do you teleport?
Did you take a cab, bro? I mean, like, how did you tell me how'd you get here?
What is the secret? I don't care about the rest of your life. Just how did you get the fucking piano here?
How did this stuff get here? How did this stuff get here, bro? Like, this is fucking amazing. Like, it was here, and then I brought it here.
It's like, you like the build-up? I went through your whole life story. How did you get the piano here to the park?
Yeah, it's...
Is the 800-pound piano significantly more...
More pain in the ass? I mean...
it's worth it.
Bringing the pianos around, I guess, again, like, the thing about having a Steinway out there versus like a crummy upright, which I have right now, because like I couldn't deal with the grands for a little while. Like I have other shit going on in my life, and I can't like.
The sound quality is just so much better.
Yeah, it is, and more importantly, like, I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, you probably feel more confident knowing you're like.
Yeah, and so when I'm playing it and I'm hearing the sound, it's actually pleasing to me, which.
Motivates you to continue.
It kind of amplifies out through it. But the logistics of bringing it there, and the fact that, again, like, I don't want to get into too much
I don't want to get into
stuff,
it either.
But as far as like storing the pianos and moving them around, New York City was not very supportive in this regard, and I kind of like understand.
I just feel like you kind of had to find your place, your niche, because there's so many neighborhoods, there's so many places, like.
Yeah, I mean, anyways, it's. I understand kind of what's going on with them, and what the situation with real estate is, but nonetheless, like, I really am. When you talk about how I'm always trying to, like, bring something more positive to people's lives.
Yeah, you're such a compassionate person.
I mean, that is really the truth. And eventually, these places around the park, they should come to me and they say, Colin, bring your piano here. Here are some keys. Don't even worry about it.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It actually wouldn't be amazing. It would actually be
It's what you deserve. I mean, that would be so cool.
Not even deserve. I would say it'd be a logical response to what tasks I have ahead of me to make things more positive here.
As I was doing research for this podcast, I was going through, YouTube videos of you throughout the decades, and it's just
none of them are very good.
But all the same, none of it. I mean, all of it is just nonstop. Colin has given so much to the community. He's a staple of New York City. His music brings, people actually, tourists, they come specifically to Washington Square Park to see you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's a thing. It's crazy.
It's not just that. There's actually a lot more to it than that, which is part of the kind of this new direction in life is I found that, and this is the kind of, I don't know, what I would call the kind of what would be on par with a flat earther kind of thing to say. I found that our experiences, our emotions are more intertwined than I thought they were. That our experiences as living things, I initially thought were very segregated from one another. And I'm finding that we're actually more intertwined than I thought, and more reliant on each other's existence than I ever thought. It's something that I'm still trying. I mean, I don't know, talking about it. It sounds again like flat earther stuff. It sounds like what the fuck are you talking about?
Absolutely not. Flat earthers actually are completely ignorant, but you've been enlightened. It seems everything that you're saying makes total sense from a quantum science point of view.
I mean, it's hard for me to fully. Okay. A troll just took the thing.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to go into the details of how I've come to understand this, but on a spiritual sense or whatever.
Yeah.
Our experiences are far more intertwined than I thought, and our positivity reverberates through each other.
Yeah.
I found that you can actually create much more positivity in me than I can in myself. So I can spend all day trying to nurture positivity, but you could come and just go boop like this, and I would. And I think it's just because you're a different human. You have a different network of emotions and thoughts that is completely different than mine. And so if you have some positivity to push towards me, it's going to be something that my body is going to be completely unfamiliar with. That's my best understanding.
So you just kind of feel the contrast more. Yeah, I mean, it's a fact that you have neurons that mirror other people's neurons. That's how we get empathy. We feel other people, so that's a real thing. The brain produces brain waves, and the heart produces an electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
So we are all interconnected, and there's a matrix within the universe that we're all traversing through the fourth dimension. We're just three-dimensional vessels.
I think things in my
it's
life
all connected.
will improve and become much easier once I've developed a better relationship with people where they understand that if you want to make this guy really excited and happy and a fully functional living thing, it's up to them to bring the happiness to me. And not like it's a responsibility that they should put effort into it. It's literally because you are a very different kind of thing. And when you have positivity, you can push at me. It's positivity that is a reflection of your identity, which is a very unique thing. Your identity is completely different than my identity, but our experiences are still bound. And so when you have positivity that comes towards me, I will still recognize it as positivity, but it will be something that is coming from your experience and your kind of matrix of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff that I give out into the world is a little bit more it's actually a mix of negativity and positivity, but it's put together in such a way that positivity always wins. A lot of times I'll be dealing with people and they have the mix of negativity and positivity, but negativity is winning.
Well,
And
just to create an example of that, one of the things that you've coined, I guess, or evolved in your art is you started laying people under the piano.
I started doing that.
I know that's been done before in the past, but how did you come to that?
There's actually a guy named Jerry who is kind of a crazy Washington Square Park character. He died just a couple years ago.
Sorry to hear
And
that.
he was coming to have an emotional day, and I was like, you know what, I think I got just the thing for you. Why don't you come lay underneath the piano? I'm going to play one of your favorite pieces of music, Claire de Lune by Debussy, play it all the time. And it'll be like, it'll feel like this wash of emotion.
That's beautiful.
It's one of many ways. So like when I first literally started making art, I was drawing. And the reason why I chose to be an artist is because I realized that art can take a negative kind of experience that I have with another person, and it can turn it positive. When I was in fifth grade? I guess it was fifth grade. There was this kid named Jermaine Barry, and he hated me for some reason.
You still remember the name.
But yeah, because
that's
he
such
treated
an
me like shit
important
from the time that I was in first grade. Like he was this violent, angry kid.
that imprinted into your brain. That's crazy.
And I was just like, holy cow, man! Like, why on earth? And I drew a picture of a guy shooting a gun on a mountain. He was like an Avenger type thing, and he loved it, and he was excited about it. And I was like, yes, we're friends now. I figured it out. And yeah, I mean, whenever he was around,
That's such a
around me,
heartwarming moment.
I would like hold up the picture and be like, yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So for me, art was like a way of
Turning something negative into something positive.
Yeah. So many of my relationships with other humans were negative and really disappointing. I mean, with my parents, with most of the kids that I went to school with, all the teachers. I mean, like in my imagination, I probably murdered all of my teachers, like every day, like maybe even twice a day. Like as a kid, like I wish I'd just been honest and just been they asked me how to like answer a question, I'd be like, I'm violently murdering you in my mind right now. But it's funny, but at the same time, it's horrible that I had to think that.
That's insane.
As a kid.
It was a different time back then.
So I needed a way to try and have a more positive relationship with these people. So yeah, first it was drawing, that definitely helped, and then it moved to guitar, and then it moved to piano. And then once I started playing piano, I was like, okay, this is something I found that is universally, like, my parents like it, like that hot girl over there likes it, my teachers like it. Like everybody seems to like it, so I think this is the one I'm going to stick with.
Nice.
It really it was about expression. I loved a lot of like Eastern European, Russian piano music.
Yeah.
But the main point was to like try and have a relationship with these people that seemed to like have so much animosity towards me for some reason.
To build connections, friends.
And so putting people underneath the piano, again, it was a way of like trying to like figure out how to like get more positivity into people and have
I've seen so many people cry from that experience. Like, you've really done it.
Well, I started thinking about it, and I think actually the experience for them is not so much the music.
Like, it's an emotional...
The vibrations. It's actually, I think it has more to do with me focusing on them as a person, them sitting quietly, and we're not talking. There's no verbal stuff going on, and I'm like really focusing all of my positive energy and thoughts.
So you're saying it's like that human connection.
Yeah.
Like you're playing for them, and they feel that you're putting energy into that relationship and creating a positive moment for them. And
it's kind of, I think there's like a Kundalini exercise or something like this where you'll sit with a person and you like stare at each other for like 5 minutes and not speak, and like apparently there's like people that are really good at doing it. They can put positive energy into the other person, and the other person will start crying. And So I mean, again, I think our experiences are more
Absolutely.
interwoven than I thought. And when you
Absolutely.
have a moment where you're not sharing words, but just focused on, I want this person to feel more positivity.
Yeah.
Then that there's, I don't know, there's some magic that happens there. It's still something I'm trying to understand, and I'll explore again. But yeah, I think it has less to do with the vibrations of the instrument, but more to do with the vibrations of the humans.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. You know. But people do cry, and you do create a positive experience, and that's really the most important thing. It's just like your impact on other people. So I kind of wanted to make a little joke. I hope you get this one.
Hit me.
Yeah. So you've been in Washington Square Park probably how many years? Over like about 10,
20 years.
About 20
18 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you unite people together, like in kind of a way?
I mean, I think what I've found, again, it's a mixture of the music and me, but if you walk around New York, there's a barrier between you and other people who are around. So if you're not
Yeah.
actively doing a project with someone or planning on meeting someone, and you just walk up to a random person, you're like, "Hey, let's talk about something."
Yeah.
It's not going to go well.
Right.
There's a barrier of I don't know, negative.
Like you create that
whatever.
connection.
And so yes,
People
so the
through the
music, whether it's the music or me or a mixture of both, it dissolves those barriers, not just between me and the listener, but also between sometimes the listener and another listener. So it enables people to feel more connected to one another.
Yeah. I felt like you connect people. Yeah. So do you ever consider yourself the Garibaldi of New York City?
Oh my God. Okay, you actually have a set of
That was my joke.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why Garibaldi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think what did Garibaldi do? I don't know.
He united like the Italian
He
people.
hasn't done as much as me. I can tell you that for sure. I think he's done nothing but be a statue. But but I guess he earned it. So whatever.
Well, that's one of the nicer spots to play in Washington Square Park.
No,
It's got the shade.
I guess
in the summer.
the reason why I like that is because like he's taking his sword and he's putting it away, and it's for me it's when I see sculptures like that, it's symbolic of someone deciding I'm not gonna do violence anymore. The sword is not the way, and I'm putting it away, and I'm going to work out my issues in better ways. There's a lot of like.
That's beautiful.
Not necessarily violence, but there's a lot of like
Aggression.
pushy, negative motivation in New York City. Inclinations that are motivating people, but doing it in a negative way. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're fired. And this kind of motivation, it fucks people up, and it's something that eventually we're going to have to get away from. Positive energy is amazing. So if you were genuinely excited about a project, and you were excited to do it, like you really wanted to do it, it's going to be amazing. Like whatever it is, you're gonna finish it on time, and it's going to be something that everybody's going to be excited to see. If you're doing something and it's just like, oh God, I can't just do this fucking shit, it's not going to be wonderful. It's not going to have that same
Heart.
Positivity is amazing. Like when you start a project with this fervor of like, oh God, I can't wait to do this, man. It's going to be like fucking amazing. It enables you to, I don't know, like plant the seeds of something that's gonna grow and become very, very meaningful. So much stuff here is done in such a way that it's like, oh God, fucking just do this fucking shit. You can't, like, what time are they gonna get the fuck out of here? And it messes people up. It makes them do things that is not them. Like it's not part of what they are. It's some weird not them thing. I mean, have you ever done something that seen the difference between something that you're excited about and something that you're like,
Absolutely.
fuck this shit.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just going through the motions, you have a, structure in your head that you're following, a blueprint. Whereas if you're like motivated intrinsically, you'll add your own kind of flavor and make it better. So yeah, it comes out better. You put your heart and soul into it, and it feels. It's almost like you're leaving your, positive energy with that thing that you're creating, and other people can feel off of it.
Yeah, negative energy kind of like, it kind of hits a
It's like
person
a black hole.
and then it just thuds. It doesn't really.
Like it sucks energy out of people. Like
I want to understand eventually one day why it is the way it is. I feel like negative energy is something that, my reaction to it is like, I fucking hate this shit. Like, why are you talking to me like this? I think if I really explore it, I'll be able to understand that it actually comes from something like.
Well,
like
it's kind of complicated. I mean, if you think about it, emotions, objectively speaking, don't exist. Like everything that you feel is filtered through your own neural network, your own brain. There's a feedback loop between your thoughts, which is like the way that your brain is wired, and the chemicals that your organs produce, like the dopamine, the hormones, the happy stuff, the sad stuff, oxytocin, just everything. I'm not an expert in this, but I know a little bit of everything. But we could cut that part out.
I will say that.
But what I'm trying to just say is that those emotions, your reactions to certain things, are partly from your neural connections, from your past experiences, how you react to things. People go to therapy for this kind of stuff. I'm not, I don't know specifically what or how, but
I'm not a huge fan of therapy, and I'll tell you why. It's because it doesn't always prioritize positive emotions. So like if I'm in a situation with you and someone says, Colin, listen, you need to do your best you can to help this guy. What I will try and do is I will try and figure out how to get as much positivity into you as possible. Feelings of comfort, feelings of joy, feelings of happiness, feelings of being loved, feelings of safety, feelings of acceptance, like all the good stuff, as much as possible, as often as possible. And so you feel like a sense of these emotions they're never going to be fucked with. They're never going to be taken away from me.
Have you ever tried a sensory deprivation tank? Like a sensory deprivation pod?
I don't know, the apartment that I'm crashing in right now is like it's always got curtains drawn and
there's like a therapy where you enter into a pod or just like a shallow bath. It's with salt water and it's room temperature. It's completely pitch black. So you feel nothing, you see nothing, you hear nothing. There's alterations, but the point of it is that your brain kind of resets from the lack of sensory data, and it just goes back to being itself. Because we're so overstimulated in New York City, it just fucks with our brains.
I actually did the extreme opposite of that. Do you know Wim Hof? He's not Norwegian. He's from the Netherlands. He does breathing exercises, and he's known as the Iceman of Holland or something like this. Where he'll sit in ice baths for like 3 hours or something like this, and like
yeah. I've never heard of him, but breathing exercises help a lot. Ice baths help a lot. Yeah.
So I never did the sensory deprivation thing, but I found that when I did these ice baths, if I learned how to not let the ice panic overwhelm me and stay in a calm state, it enabled me to have more control over my feelings. That the sensory deprivation thing, I don't know. I would try it. I think when I'm in water, I usually don't feel. So you're like in like a bath. Like how does it?
Yeah, there's different types. the one Anna and I go to is kind of an open room, but the ones I used to go to are a pod. But the concept is the same. It's shallow water. It's salt water, like very very salty. So you're floating on it.
Oh, like was it the Dead Sea? Isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It's completely pitch black, so you don't see anything. You have earplugs in, so the water doesn't get in your ears, and you don't hear anything either. And basically, it cuts you off from all of your senses, and I start having visions. My brain kind of resets,
What did you see? Did you mind?
rewires.
Do you mind describing what you saw?
Uh, it 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 kind of varies, but my mind will go out. Sometimes I'll have like out of body experiences because you
Are you
literally
doing drugs when you
lose touch. You lose that connection between your body and reality, like the physical, because it's room temperature. The water is room temperature, the air is room temperature. You don't feel anything. There's no light. There's no sound. So it's like you're floating in space. Your body is inside of your mind, and it becomes, and you're there for like an hour or more. So it could turn into like a really trippy, really therapeutic experience.
Is that a ketamine experience, or is that
It could be. I mean, people do different things, but I would recommend trying without it first, just to get that.
I think one of the reasons why the ice baths are more appealing to me, again, I think is like something I'm trying to do.
They work differently. This is for more for your mind.
Yeah.
The ice baths, I think, are more for your body to physically become more, hardened.
Well, I disagree.
resistant.
Anxiety is a very...
But then again, everything in your body is through your mind.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, when you feel anxiety, you might feel like your lungs tense up, or this kind of like sinking feeling in your stomach, and that is the exact feeling that you feel when you go into the ice baths. And learning how to, if I'm really going to understand negativity, I have to learn how to not freak out when it hits me. If negativity hits you and you just freak out and run away, or have a very like kind of fight or flight response to it, you're not going to be able to understand it. If you can stay calm, in one of those
fight or flight
scenarios, you can actually understand where these negative emotions come from more. I feel like my experience with negativity has been like a very like fuck this shit, man, like how dare you talk to me, like
very explosive, very reactive.
And if I can figure out how to be more calm and see where the negativity actually comes from, I feel like I'm going to see this as actually a very different thing. Like negativity is still a very mysterious.
But like it's so important just to like in the face of that, not react, which is crucial, but also to take a step back and kind of analyze things objectively.
It's hard when you're in pain.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very hard. It's very
impossible.
Hard. It's very hard to do that.
Absolutely.
You'll be you'll be just trying to like understand it as quick as you can, and be like, oh, stop it, get away from me. And so I'm trying to learn how to not have that reaction. And that's one of the things that Adderall, the only drug that's ever helped me. It helps. Again, Adderall is designed for ADHD.
I've taken Ritalin,
similar drug,
a very long time. They're a little bit different. The Adderall, for me, too much dopamine. It makes me happy to be doing.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I don't choose my own path, kind of. But with the Ritalin, it just gives me that energy, and then I decide whether or not.
That bothered me at first when I took Adderall, and then I realized, when I'm dealing with negativity, I need as much positive emotions as I can.
Oh yeah, you need as much of
negativity
that.
It kind of like
support
slashes and burns positivity.
It does.
But if you're in a very positive, confident state, and negativity comes at you, if you have a wide base of positivity, you can take it and understand it. I feel like there's this sense of negativity that like it doesn't want to be understood.
Yeah.
And why, are you okay? What was something happening?
Yeah, no, we're good.
And it's something that like, I don't want to talk about negativity too much, but I feel like there's
Let's open it up. Let's examine it.
okay.
Let's put a Band-Aid on it. Put some Neosporin, on it, and help heal it maybe a little bit and close it up. If you want.
Honestly, I negativity is so mysterious to me. I've been looking at it my whole life and trying to understand.
Well, you come from like a religious background, don't you?
I come from a fucked up background.
I'm just saying because Georgia, but I really don't know.
I mean, no.
What is your spirituality? What's your religion? How are you?
The only religion that I believe in now is that you're here, your wife is there, we're in this room together, and I'm trying to learn how to express this new understanding I have of how humans exist together.
Yeah.
That's my...
For a lot of people, like spirituality, religion, it gives them kind of like a foundational like comfort.
If it gives them comfort...
Is there something like that for you?
Comfort I regard as a positive feeling.
Yeah.
Positive, no matter where it comes from. I don't care where it comes from. If something gives someone positive
Is there
feelings,
something like that for you?
Something that gives me comfort?
Like a foundational kind of deep down inside kind of comfort.
Thoughts of my ex-girlfriend, Rachel. Like, we haven't been together in a while, but...
She provided that for you?
When I'm, like, searching through my thoughts for, okay, so, like, when I was thinking about this interview or podcast yesterday... That was giving me some positive feelings. I was like, oh, cool. It'll be a good chance for me to, like, figure out how to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
I can think about a number of different things that, like these cameras are kind of, like, cool. Like, that gives me some positive energy. It was neat to meet your wife and, Russian-Ukraine connection. Like, that gives me some positivity. But number one is remembering her. And it's weird. It's something that I don't talk about much because a lot of people will be like, dude, you need to forget her, man. And... Like I don't.
I feel like that's really bad advice because that's what makes you who you are. Like otherwise you're lost without that history. It's like how did I get here? Oh no, I forgot. Like you know what I mean? It's important, but like at the same time, I think what they mean is like don't hold on to it. Just let it be.
I mean, I'm trying to if another girl comes along and I think thoughts about her and she becomes. My number one source of good thoughts, then I guess that my feelings for Rachel are done and I don't have to worry about it anymore. But so long as, like, if I just allow my thoughts to just wander in my imagination and I just say, okay, listen, no judgments, thoughts, you just go wherever you want and wherever the good stuff is, that's where it is. Like, if it is in the weirdest, craziest, most obscene things, if there are good feelings there, no judgment, that's where it is. And they always land on Rachel as the best feelings. And so I just try to, like, allow myself to have an imagination that doesn't feel constrained. Like if you're going to allow someone to truly be themselves and like explore their own identity, you have to be able to say, listen, whatever gives you good feelings as your thoughts move, that is okay. And that's something that is something that you should nurture. I feel like we get taught to like not like things that actually give us joy. Like as I was growing up, like if I would like a song, my brother might be like, dude, that song isn't cool. That song isn't punk rock. I'd just be like, I don't know, it's Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, man.
I just like it.
I just like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like there was a lot of that in my life where I would experience something and it would give me good feelings, and then someone would say, no, that's not that's not cool. And I'd be like, well, it still gives me good feelings, so I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I'm kind of like curious, like if there are things in your life that give you good feelings and someone said no, like that's not cool. Like maybe ketamine is something that you've gotten like criticism for. Like,
sure. Yeah.
Like
especially before it became like mainstream and more popular. And
are you able to like fend it off and not feel any shame or
the thing is, like, I did a lot of research on it, and there have been studies dating back to the early 2000s that it being used for like PTSD and behavioral stuff. Actually, it was discovered by accident. Like it was invented in the 1960s, but it was used as anesthetic for surgery to replace other forms because it does not reduce your respiratory system. So you could still like breathe normally through it, which is really good. And basically they were using it for skin grafts and stuff like that as an anesthetic. It wasn't until like the early 2000s where people were coming into the hospital for like suicidal tendencies. I'm not allowed to say that word probably. Unaliving tendencies. And they were injected with ketamine to kind of knock them out. And then when they woke up, they were completely fine.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Everything was gone. They were normal. And then, doctors became more curious about it. They started doing research. And, over the next, 15 years, now FDA is approving the nasal spray from Johnson & Johnson, like ketamine nasal spray. The stuff really, really does work. There's not enough research being done on it. As far as the dosing and the method, different things work for different people, but it does work 100%.
I did try it myself, and I will say that whenever I try any narcotic, my judgment is always based on the positive and negative. And for most narcotics of any kind, my experience is always that you try it and you feel that good feeling, and there's kind of a withdrawal. There's so when I tried ketamine, I tried it in the morning. And by the evening, I felt like drained. I felt and I was like, dude, I ate well. I even went to the gym. I was really taking good care of myself. My back is really hurting, and I just feel like ugh,
your back hurting. That sounds like it's your kidneys, and ketamine doesn't do that. So here's the thing: if you're gonna take. If you feel like you need something medicinally, you should definitely get a prescription for it. That's my recommendation. That's my official recommendation.
Not the drug dealers in Washington Square Park?
Never.
Really? Okay.
That's okay, recreationally by me.
You
follow the laws in your area.
You get the first hit for free. I mean, it's
you know what I mean? But from my point of view, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, but and that's usually a tactic they employ whenever they have bad stuff, by the way.
Yeah. I tried. I mean, but, I tried a tiny bit of it that a friend of mine. The way I try is I kind of microdose whatever someone is giving me. I just microdose it and see kind of how my body reacts to it. And if there's that withdrawal moment.
That's kind of what I was saying. The research still does not know definitively the exact method and the dosage. But there's clinics in New York City where you can do an IV of ketamine solution.
I'm not criticizing.
Yeah.
It's helped a number of my friends, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm just saying that when I.
But that's how I was able to defend the things that were positive to me, because I did the research and I know better. Because a lot of people, they say these things from a sense of ignorance and a sense of being uncomfortable with themselves.
For me, I don't care if you've done the research. If it improves your life, that's all I care about. If I don't know, watching RoboCop every Thursday at 8:00 improves your life, then I'm all for it. I think something.
But if you can also rationalize it by saying RoboCop, you learn a lot of valuable life lessons from it. This is awesome. Or the music that you were listening to, it's got the different octaves and it. The history behind it and what the message that it sends, it's so cool. That's how I feel I would defend my position is by creating associations. And
I guess I often get trouble that you or anyone would feel like they have. If you told me,
but it's also crazy that you have to defend yourself to other people.
If you told me that it improved your life, I would say, okay, I'm sold. I don't need further explanation.
Yeah.
And I find in many cases, I'm constantly defending myself and trying to, and it's gotten to a point where I don't even tell people what I'm doing anymore.
But it's crazy. Like we're old men, and we still have to like explain ourselves to other
Yeah.
people. Like people are, they like, why does it matter what I do?
Yeah, it's
I mean, I don't know.
and I think it's a symptom of negativity of people feeling a need to make you feel like you need to be ashamed of something that improves your life.
Like
And-
makes you feel happy or anything like that.
yeah, and eventually the reaction to anyone. So, like for instance, like when I was trying to improve my relationship with my parents, like this is something that was like years, I'd left kind of like on the back burner. I was just like, I can't deal with these guys. They're fucking insane.
And good for you for trying that, because that's such an important.
It is.
Yeah.
And so I realized like one thing was is that like I was like, okay, I need, like, me and my mom and my dad, we need to all have a regular activity that we do together. I don't care if it's fucking Yahtzee. Like, we need to have a thing where we're all kind of collaborating together and doing a thing. And it's like collaborating with another human and sharing an experience together that isn't just food, maybe like making food, but it's something that where you're actually experiencing a thing together and all having input into something. And so Jeopardy night, Jeopardy comes on every night at 7 o'clock, and we all sit there and watch Jeopardy, and we all kind of, like, we have the different categories where we like, that'll be my specialty, and that's my mom's specialty, and that's my dad's specialty.
That's cool.
And we're able to kind of like share in these experiences where we're like, oh, I didn't know that. And my mom will get like really excited, and she actually will like jump up and dance around. And like on the final question, where it's like they ask the question, and then they all write the answer. So they ask a question, they put it up on the screen, and then we'll pause the screen, and then we'll sit and we'll talk about it. We'll be like, okay, wait a second. It was like 1859 in California, and that's when it did it. And we'll all try to put and having something where we're all equally putting energy into something, and it might be wrong, it might be right, but doing that enabled us to these interwoven emotions to kind of start working together in a new way, and it gave us this kind of like constant source of positivity. And like if one of us wasn't around, we didn't have it. We didn't have Jeopardy night. Like, we couldn't just have Jeopardy night with me and my dad. Like, it had to be all of us. And it really helped heal these interwoven emotions that have been kind of, I don't know, damaged or misplaced. And yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how my life can eventually be more about collaborating in these experiences, not like Jeopardy night per se, but like making stuff, I don't know, either movies or art projects or whatever. I can't really do that right now because I'm still kind of like understanding how this whole thing works, and it's still very, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of negativity there that's just like blowing my mind, and I don't really know how to handle it. But anyways, I feel like I keep going off. You have more.
No, that was a beautiful story, and a valuable lesson to people, who may be struggling through something similar.
Yeah, I mean, healing family relationships is something I see as actually very important.
Family is everything. Like, that's who you are. I mean, like, your DNA, that is your family. And I feel like that's so important. Those are the people who will always understand you because they are part you.
Yeah.
And having a significant other is like extremely important to continue that idea of family. I'm lucky to have Anna, and I'm sure that
Rachel will come along eventually. I think I
Well,
heard that she's dating somebody else right now. And I'm like, come on, I want to meet this guy.
it-
Could he be better than me? Really, really,
well,
really.
there's two things here. Never compare yourself to other people. That's like something I learned in life. It's like, the only person I compare myself to is me yesterday. So that kind of helps me a little bit psychologically with the pain. And the second thing is like in Buddhism, for example, there's a philosophy. Every single person comes into your life to teach you a lesson, and then they leave.
Yeah, I usually interpret that
Yeah.
differently. Like every single person comes into my life to cause me some pain, and then they leave.
Well, life is pain.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
The
not.
moment you are born, you begin to die.
Positivity is what shapes our whole experience.
Life is pain.
And
There's nothing wrong with that. That's nature.
negativity is there, and it's pushing positivity around. But positivity is the amazing, complicated stuff. Negativity is something I still like. Pain is something that I don't understand it, and I think that our understanding of it is very different, and I have a much more hateful.
But that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Like, positivity and negativity is just your interpretation through your filter of past experiences, your chemistry, and your self-awareness or thought process, or how you manage to control. You can control your thoughts. You could force yourself to look at the glass more open. You could choose to ignore certain items.
I used to think that.
There's so much to it.
But I found that our experience is more interwoven than I thought, and you and I are actually sharing our thoughts right now and being kind of manipulated by one another. One of the things that I'm finding is something that I struggle with is I tend to kind of take things over. Like I kind of try to throw my positivity into the things, which I think dilutes the person that I'm talking to, and it kind of makes them turn into like a calm, agreeable,
Absolutely not.
Human.
Absolutely not.
And this
and me saying absolutely not is exactly, in and of itself, me not agreeing. So.
I mean, one of the reasons why I do that
It's
is because people do often hurt me when our exchange is usually a hurtful one, unless I kind of like bring things in my direction. But I think that there's going to be eventually a better way to handle that is less me being overbearing and more me being able to experience someone's true identity. I think the problem right now that I experience is that people have a lot of negativity wrapped up in their experience, and it hurts me. Like being around them is hurtful, and I tend to kind of like want to like douse them with my positivity in order to make them.
Well, that's really interesting. I mean, I feel like just people are going through a lot of pain in their lives.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
like
I mean,
it's kind of like there was a study done with in a zoo where scientists would take a newborn monkey away from its mother, take it into a cage, and they would have a mannequin with thorns. And the baby would think that's its mother, and it would actually like hurt itself trying to get that warmth and positivity from that mother.
Kind of my experience.
It feels like it, but like you're human. I mean, yeah, we're all monkeys, sure, but.
Well, I'm trying to. That's been my experience with humanity, is that they have been the mannequins with thorns, and I've been constantly hugging them and hurting myself.
A little bit, because they're going through their own pains, and you're associating that as them being negative towards you, but it's nothing personal, I think.
Well, one of my tactics has always been to kind of douse them with my positivity, and so it kind of like pads them so I can like deal with them better. But that means that I'm turning them, I'm kind of like swaying them in more like my direction, which
It's like you're forcing them to be with you.
Yeah, which is not
healthy.
That's not their identity. I think the negativity is also obscuring their identity, and so in many ways, when I look at you, your identity is kind of mysterious to me. I'm like
specifically mine, or just in general.
humanity in general, but I mean, we can focus on you.
It's up to you.
If I were to truly understand your identity, I would have to, like, number one, I have to take myself completely out of the equation, and you have to be completely yourself. But I think the negativity in your life that in many ways you've used as defining yourself, I think that these are a lot of, I think these are false, but you still use them, and they're still attached to your identity. And so when I'm talking to you and you're kind of like using these as like references for who you are, I'm like, no, dude, that's not you. The negative stuff is really not like. So yeah, if I really like get to the root of who you are, I think you would have to yourself reject the negative stuff and say, yeah, that's not me, and then just look at the positive, and then you would see like the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was a child, I was like the most curious and compassionate person. Over the years, I've been traumatized and pained. So yeah, sure.
yes, I mean,
Possible
like
I become more negative.
when you talk about yourself as being like is there certain things that you like tried to do that you wanted to do but you couldn't do because of lack of ability or lack of understanding? So so those limitations, they're wrong. Like,
It's learned helplessness.
yeah,
Helplessness.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm trying to understand better the negativity, because it isn't something that you can just reject. It's not something that you can just be like, well,
No, yeah.
get rid of that shit.
A
It's
lot of it is just like cause and effect built up on itself, in a way.
I mean that's kind of, I guess that's kind of how emotions, that they exist.
Yeah.
I kind of think of them as a tapestry, or kind of like a network
Well,
of circuits or
yeah, I'll
something.
be honest with you. I've been doing a lot of, working on myself over the last maybe 4 years, and I feel now I'm in a really good place.
Well, what do you feel like you changed things, or like what do when you say you worked on yourself, what did you do?
Well, the first step is recognizing you have a problem. I did the ketamine. I went to the ketamine clinic. That was one thing. Another thing is just changing my habits.
When you do ketamine, does it
The,
like, it
the,
gives you
the,
more a
the,
positive outlook on things?
yeah.
Like how does it change your emotions?
Well, the way ketamine works, it works on a chemical level in your brain. It's a glutamate reuptake inhibitor. Basically, glutamate is the stimulatory neurotransmitter. It stimulates your how fast your electricity shoots between your neurons.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your brain is flooded with glutamate, and glutamine and all the precursors and everything. Again, I'm not an expert in this, but so your brain will rewire itself.
I mean, how do you
Essentially.
can you describe it as an emotional experience? Like, how did you feel? How do you describe your feelings before you did it, and how do you describe your feelings after you did it?
Well, I used to have a lot of mood swings.
Mm-hmm.
I used to feel like everything is outside of my control. I used to have so many impulse actions and thoughts and just things that weren't like me.
See, I'm trying to figure out how to help people with that, but it's very.
But it's a combination of things. It wasn't just the ketamine. It was also changing my habits, changing my diet, bringing different people into my life. Like bringing the people who mean well to me closer to me, and the people who disagree with me or mean harm to me or don't care about me, rather further away, distancing myself from that. It's just a life, but the ketamine allowed me to make those changes more
Yeah.
easily.
Something I've been trying to understand is so if I meet someone and they feel like their life is being pushed around in ways that like they don't feel like they're in control, like they feel like their mood might change in ways that is completely like not their choice at all. If I'm going to help someone with this right now, what I'm kind of doing is I try to insert my own positivity at them, and it almost like gives them the tools to be able to kind of slow down and look at these forces. And then in a way, it's almost interesting when I see how people do it, and then they almost like reject my stuff because that's also not them. But rejecting my positivity, I don't know. It's easy. Like rejecting the forces that are pushing you around, I think is much more difficult.
Do you think it could be the presentation?
But what do you mean presentation?
Well, my understanding of reality is that everything is energy, everything is vibration. And so some vibrations tend to better align with our sensory input. Like, for example, there have been so many times in my life where I would tell people things and they would say, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. Or like, I just don't like your tone.
Mm.
And that's crazy to me because I'm speaking facts, but to them it's like, I just don't like your energy. So that's what I mean by presentation.
I mean, it's possible to express things in a negative way. I mean, usually when I'm doing this, I'm usually doing it almost kind of in a nonverbal kind of way. It's not something I can do right now. And ultimately, I'm trying to get people to understand that I'm not. Sometimes I feel like people feel overwhelmed by this, like I'm trying to like take over their lives.
Could be that they're just not open to it.
Well, I feel like I'm in a situation where,
like, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't fault yourself for other people's,
Well, I don't, but I mean, but I still.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up over it.
I gain a lot of, I get a lot of benefit when I actually succeed at this. There have been people that I have horrible antagonistic relationships with, people that, like, I when I see them in the park, I'm just like, oh crap, not this fucking guy again. And I almost feel like we're going to get in a fist fight every time we see each other. And then I figure out how to assert some positivity into this person's life, and they start kind of developing a new direction. But it's not me; it's their own direction, and we become best friends. That there are two people I can think of that I was able to develop a great meaningful friendship with. That when originally I met them, I was just like, this fucking person is a violent fucking maniac. I don't know what the fuck to do with this. And I feel like I did it in a way that that didn't, I don't know, infringe on their, I don't know, their own
ego,
sense of who they are,
sense of self.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that a human identity is what. So like I said, like if I wanted to really feel better about life and really feel a positive experience, the best way to get that done is if you had, some positive thoughts or positive experience, and you could share it with me. It's going to be a whole new matrix of feelings that I'm whoa, holy shit, like I had no idea that you could feel this way, and it's going to like really like lift me up, and it comes from your identity. It comes from this unique matrix of feelings and emotions that are you. And so when I'm able to do that with someone, it brings so much joy into my life that this person is now, their own person and have the ability to bring positivity now into my life. And so anyways, yeah, I don't blame myself, but I mean, when I succeed, it's a fucking amazing thing. And like I can succeed on like kind of like an individual basis, but there's a lot of pain out there in humanity, and I kind of don't know what the fuck to do with it. It's a bit overwhelming, and I don't know. I'm kind of curious what you think about like where that came from. Like, it's confusing to me. I feel like it's worse now than it's ever been in my entire life, and I don't know. I kind of feel like it's my fault.
There comes a time when we just need to let go of the things that aren't working necessarily, or and kind of just like focus on ourselves. The most exhausting thing is constantly putting our energy out there, and the thing that heals us is through meditation, bringing your energy in.
I mean,
So
I ultimately do that, but again,
I know you do a lot of meditation.
if I want to
but,
have the most positive feelings, I get that from you. I get that from another individual. Um, I do bring myself into solitude regularly to try and kind of like, get some maintenance going on of my own emotions. But the bottom line is that our interwoven experience is what is going to give me the most positivity. And so I can only separate myself so much and actually regard it as like a real thing. Um, like my experience with other people, like that's the real thing. That's what's going to ultimately, lift both of our lives up to a much better place. And so so understanding what their situation is and how I can contribute to it is very important. And it's like I said, like like if I'm looking at Washington Square Park and I see like 200 people, I might see like 2 or 3 people that I feel like I've developed this kind of higher exchange of feelings with. And then everybody else, I'm just kind of looking at, and I'm just like, holy crap! Like it's like he just looks like a cesspool of pain and frustration. Like, what the fuck do I do with that? And I guess like I'm kind of curious, like like I don't know, maybe you being Russian, maybe you understand something about like great abysses of pain. I feel like that's kind of what Russia is.
yeah.
But I am trying to like better understand like what this is. And like I mean, you said that you feel like you see for yourself that there's a lot of pain out there. I mean, like, what do you feel like you're seeing? Like, can you describe it? Negativity is very difficult to describe. It's like very mysterious.
Well, here's my kind of take on all of this. Each person is living through their own life, and I'm very kind of Buddhist about it, in that it's not really my responsibility to live another person's life unless we have a mutual agreement to kind of help each other. And
I used to think that until I started seeing how interwoven things were, and I was like, crap!
And they are.
It kind of is like my responsibility, whether I like no matter what I think.
No, I mean, look, they are interwoven, and the only responsibility I think you have is, or any of us have, is just to keep putting positivity out there, but it's not to force positivity onto other people. It's like the Mormons that come to your door. It's like, all right, I get it, dude, like, but I didn't ask you to come here.
And that's you see, that's the problem that I'm
And there's nothing wrong with what they're preaching. It's like just the fact that they're uninvited makes me uncomfortable.
Well, I think okay. So this is exactly the thing that I'm trying to figure out. I think ultimately the reason why someone might feel this towards me is because
And what you were saying earlier is that you know, when another person is positive, you light up. So
yes,
just by being in the same room.
I gain a lot from seeing.
Your only responsibility is just to continue being positive.
Well, okay, so
think.
if I were in the park and rather than having these 2 or 3 individuals that I feel like I have this kind of like, I don't know, kind of positive building experience with, what if that were everyone? Like that would be fucking amazing. Like I think I would feel a deep sense of love and community and excitement that I've never felt before. And so I'm trying to understand.
But you're in a public park, right?
Well, I'm trying.
Like there's a difference between like if they bought tickets to your show, right? And then they all feel positive because they want to be there, whereas like in a public park,
Yeah, so
Not that there's anything wrong with it, and it would be amazing, but it's a level of expectation.
Well, so I feel like there's with some individuals, there's kind of an incongruence with my positivity and their negative situation. And I think a big part of it is that I don't fully understand what their negative situation is. I think sometimes it hurts me so much that I just kind of back away, and I'm just like, I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on there. And so I'm trying to better understand how I can figure out to contribute to these people's lives in a way that isn't offensive and is something that they feel comfortable with. I mean, part of me will just say, like, dude, they're so negative and there's so much pain there that it's beyond me. I don't know what to do.
Honestly, in that situation, I think just playing beautiful music like you do is
That's
really
that's been the best so far.
the best thing you can do.
I feel like there's going to be something better, and I feel like it's going to come when I understand.
But do you like another thought that I'm having is, you're almost expecting a sense of instant gratification. Whereas it's also possible that the music that you play and the emotions that you evoke are carried throughout the day and influences them in other aspects of their life. Like, it reverberates throughout their life and it affects other people. Like holding a door open for someone. Like, in that moment, it might not mean much, but they'll pass that kindness on. And you're affecting other people that way. Through your music, you're changing their emotion. You're helping to rewire their brain by sending out positive, chemicals in their brain. Like, you're actually having a meaningful impact on these people's lives.
I think the example I'll give is my father.
But it takes time.
Yeah. So like my father is someone that I never had a good relationship with. I was never able to, like, as I was talking about making the Kickstarter video, we were positively building something together. We were both working at it like in our own independent way and still respecting the project. I was never able to do anything like that with my dad. We would work on a project for like 2 minutes. We would yell at each other and not talk for a week or so. And I just feel like, wow, that fucking guy hates me. And there was always this sense of of tension and stress and, I don't know, like kind of distance with him. And it's something that was very intimidating to me. And I would, in many cases, I'd be trying to, like, work with him on stuff. And I just kind of throw my hands up. And I would just be like, dude, this guy's fucking insane. I don't know how to fucking deal with this. And it actually got to a point where I spent enough time on it that I started to kind of understand more where he was coming from and not overwhelm the situation with my with my positivity and, like, this is how things are going to be done, but, like, figure out, like, really where he was coming from and how to kind of, like, move in a way with him that helped us both move forward. And it was one of the most gratifying things of my life. And I think it's not just because it's my father, but it's because when I come across these individuals who seem so sunken in pain and misery that I feel like I can't connect with them at all, when I actually am able to kind of, like, figure it out, it's tremendously gratifying. I mean, like, with someone like you, I feel like we're kind of, like, already kind of on a similar vibe, and it's pretty easy for us to get to that positive point. But for someone that I feel, completely distant from, completely like this person's negativity is, like, way beyond me, if I can figure that out, it is one of the most amazing and gratifying and beautiful things ever. And I think it's because, like, their identities have been something that's been very obscure to me, and to be able to see it for real is like something I've never seen before. I feel like our kind of take on things is kind of similar, and so we're able to kind of, like, vibe with one another. With my dad, it's like a whole, two different worlds, and, like, when I'm able to actually like come to grips with it and actually, like, be able to, I can actually text him now. Like the last week I was there, he was like laughing all the time. I was like, I think the universe was like, what the fuck is this sound? I've never heard this before. Is this Colin's dad laughing, like genuinely? Like whenever he laughed, it would always be kind of like, it would always come like, like it was this weird like fake laugh, and then he would be laughing at dinner and be like this genuine, like laughter. And yeah, and I feel like that like there was like an earthquake or something, like the
That
whole.
must be such a relief for you.
I mean, it was a beautiful thing to see him be himself and have a joyful moment as himself. One of the greatest experiences of my life. And it's still, it's still something that, has a long way to go. But anyways, that's why I keep coming back to these people that I see in the park that seem so.
Because you have hope.
Well, it's because I know that if I'm able to figure out how to help them come to a better place and actually have a relationship with them, it's going to be something really great and meaningful. And it's going to be something that's going to be probably just as gratifying as my relationship with my dad, on a completely other level. So that's why I keep asking you about it. It's like you did say that you felt like you saw the pain.
That's really interesting.
In people, and so I kind of like I want to understand, like, what do you feel like you're seeing, like is there like a way that you can describe it? It's okay if you can't. It's a
No, I mean, it's a very circumstantial kind of situation. Kind of everyone's different, so I don't have a blanket statement for that, but we can open it up and kind of examine it. But, obviously, building relationships with people take time. Certain situations must occur for them to open up to you and build trust. They have to trust you to open up to you. That's key. That is key. And you might actually find that either they're just having a bad day. They're not always like that. Or you might find that this is what normal to them is, and there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
They're not feeling pain.
Well, and that's something that's very
So
when someone is really negative.
It's very complicated.
And they regard that as normal. It's like I don't know how to deal with that. That's
But every emotion is a vibration, right? Like, so our vibrations are, I think, created through our DNA, right? And evolve over, our environment throughout our lives. That's kind of how I view it. And just because you feel or think that someone's pain is painful, it's your interpretation, like they're in pain. I gotta help them. I mean, sometimes I think, well,
But if I'm going to have a relationship with them,
what if you were dating someone who's like really big into BDSM? Would you be like, "Oh no, honey, I'm so sorry"? Like,
well, I actually did.
I don't want to whip you too hard.
I actually did date a dominatrix for a little while, and I mean, I don't know, we weren't really into the whipping and cutting and whatnot, but she did talk a lot about her job to me.
I just find that so interesting.
I don't know. I guess so. I'm not. I don't regard, at least at this juncture, and this has become a challenge, I don't really regard pain as like I don't like to give it much entertainment. Like I prefer to look at you. If I'm going to look at you and try to get to the essence of who you are, I try to not look at the pain. I try to kind of like help you go. Ugh.
But you have to. That's like part of your experience.
Well, see, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that, because
you shouldn't dwell on any one thing, but you should recognize its existence.
Well, it's okay. So for me to look at your positivity, it feels good. Like when I look at kind of like your aura, your interwoven emotions, and I see the good stuff, it's like ice cream. It's like it feels good. It's positive energy.
Yeah.
When I see the bad stuff, it hurts. And so it's kind of like I don't know, I can only deal with it so much before it starts to bring me down and starts to hurt my stuff. And so it's kind of like I have a limited amount of time that I can
Yeah.
spin with it.
Well, I could give you a little history. Like, I lived through almost 6 deaths. My dad and my stepdad passed away within 5 years of each other, 20 years ago. Pain is something I grew up with. It's become, I walked around with a cane, like you said. Like, I had arthritis in my hip. Every step was a sharp pain up my hip, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Death is my least favorite of all things.
that's one of my favorite things, really.
You're crazy. Death?
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's the most natural thing that everyone experiences.
The idea of you being here now, and then someone coming to me tomorrow and saying, "Oh, remember that guy that you did the podcast with? He was in a car accident and he was gone." That is not something I like. I mean, I'm
Remember what I told you in Buddhism? Every person comes into your life to teach you a lesson, and
cause me pain.
and when the time comes, they disappear. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of. But I also believe in energy. I believe in reincarnation. Energy is not destroyed. It's not renewed. It just goes back into the universe. That's kind of stuff that is my foundation that brings me comfort. It's
Well,
not religion per se, but it's the thing that makes me comfortable.
So this matrix of emotions and feelings that I see before me, if someone came to me tomorrow and said, "Colin, that matrix of emotions and feelings, it's gone," I would be really bothered.
But it isn't.
And well, hopefully.
Right.
So I guess the thing that I'm saying is that people can say to me, "Oh, death is natural. Death is,
Yeah.
it happens to us all." I'm tremendously bothered by it.
Well,
The idea of like
Yeah.
our connection with one another. I mean, I've been kind of like meandering through your emotions and like the idea of this suddenly being gone is
I could
very
tell
troubling
you
to me.
two things. One, it really kind of makes you, want to appreciate every moment that you're in, because that could be the last moment that you're with that person. So it makes me maximize every moment and not hold back and give my fullest and all of that, right? So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is simply that, when my dad died, certain really weird elements, like signs would come. His consciousness would materialize in the physical world as I was growing up. So he wasn't really actually gone. He would manifest himself in other ways.
So for me, we have this stuff in here, and it's important.
So we're never really gone.
But when one of these cameras gets thrown in the trash and its experience with me is severed, that's whatever
It's an item. But a person is
but a person is
more valuable.
It's not
And I'm not for killing people. I'm highly against killing people. I do not want to accelerate death, but I believe death is inevitable. So I'm calm about death. Every person has their time. I'm not going to accelerate death. I'm just familiar with its existence, and it's normal.
I'm also familiar with experience, and I think it sucks, and it's something that I'm looking to eliminate entirely, because I'm telling you that when I look at the
is
things,
beautiful.
It
ends the suffering. I mean, the way I see it is like life. You start dying the moment you're born. I said that before, but then also your body is a 3-dimensional prison for your mind. For my mind, that's how I view. Like, death is a gift.
I feel like in a way,
like an escape from prison.
Your
life sentence. It's a life sentence.
I feel like in a way we're not entirely living just yet. I feel like again, when I look at the matrix of emotions, and that it's still a bit of a struggle for the positivity to come out on top, and my goal is to figure out how to help you get to a point where it's not a struggle anymore, where the positivity it's just kind of a given, a little bit more. Like I can see that in you. It's a little bit of an effort.
But I'm just saying that's like my comfort. I'm not saying that's what I preach or practice. We're just talking about it now, you know.
Well, and again,
I always try to look at the positive. You know, just the fact that everyone dies doesn't mean that you should be living while you're still alive, thinking, "Oh well, I'm gonna die anyway."
So,
it's
okay,
like no,
so-
you need to maximize your life and appreciate every single moment that you are alive because you are gonna die eventually. So that's normal.
When I talk
and
about
it's
negativity
okay.
that you're accepting, that's a prime example of saying that. When I said that the positivity, it's like still a bit of an effort for you, and you said, okay, well that's my experience. I think it's something that you've come to accept, and
It's realistic.
Well, no, it's not. It's when you figure out how to not have that negativity be a part of your regular matrix, you're going to see that your experience is much more effortless. And that to get the positivity to rise to the top is actually not nearly as much effort as you thought, and your life is going to become a more flowing thing that isn't, I don't know, like you definitely get the positivity at the top, but I can tell that for you it's an effort. Like you have to slog through some negativity in order to end up with a positive result. And I'm telling you that in about 5 years or so, that's going to start. There are going to be concrete changes where that is going to change, and you're going to start to see things more as a flowing, effortless experience. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope that, I don't know, I hope that it definitely happens at least that soon, if not sooner.
Yeah.
That's something that was when we were messaging each other. Like as far as I can tell, like just like when I look at the speed at which I'm figuring things out with people, like right now, the results are kind of like here and there, and like not really anything I can very tangible or like anything I can point to and be like, look what I did. I think in about 5 years, I don't know, just my best estimate, you're going to start to see some concrete changes, and it's.
What do you think are those things in life that create those positive feelings or?
Well, naked ladies, for one. I don't know. I'm kind of also kind of serious. I mean, like, when I.
No, I am too. Like what is
sexuality.
You're saying in 5 like
like
you I'm curious what for you those specific things are.
I don't for me or for you or for both of us. For you, it's mysterious to me. I don't entirely know because my experience with other people is it's a very much of like a give and take.
So you're saying it's specific to that person.
Well, I think you're going to
Which
discover
makes sense, yeah.
a better sense of your identity that is going to be more effortless. Many of the negative, depictions that you've come to accept about who you are, you're going to either reject them or resolve. I don't entirely understand what's going to happen there, and I don't know. Your identity is going to become something more defined by you and by your choices, and less by how you're being pushed around.
I could see that.
And it's mysterious to me because it's gonna be your choice. I know that it's gonna be awesome. I know that I'm gonna love it. I know that I'm gonna benefit from it a lot from it. Just looking at it, I'm gonna be like, holy shit! Look at this. I know that a lot of people are going to, kind of indulge in seeing what you're doing. That it's going to be kind of like something to behold. But it is mysterious. I think
it's like, holy shit, Constantine grew up.
I think it's possible that you could realize. So it's like most of your life is like in film, right now? Is like in camera work or whatnot?
Uh,
I think it could be possible that you could actually take a whole different route in life and realize, oh, I actually
no, yeah.
want to be.
Like maybe 2-3 years ago, I had this like realization that my true calling, like I want to become a doctor. I want to study psychology. I want to pioneer quantum psychology, study consciousness.
I'm curious. How is your hip now? I mean, since you're not walking with a
I
cane
don't
now,
feel a
but
thing. Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. So I think some things that I might see in people is people who feel like they have physical, uh, like
Ailments.
yeah, or yeah, like limitations,
Mm.
like
Of course, it affects your life. It affects your mentality.
like if somebody
Yeah.
had a lot of knee damage, they might say like, okay, well, I can't do long distance running anymore.
No, of course. Yeah.
I think their experience might be like, oh shit, I can do long distance running now. I had no idea I could actually
Yeah.
do that. I think, you know, there are things that.
It's like I can't run marathons, because I'm afraid to
Yeah.
mess up the hip like in 30, 40, 50 years.
So that's a perfect example. And it's so like you say like I can't run marathons
But
because
I
I'm
don't-
afraid
but
to do this.
I don't even want to.
But I guarantee you.
But there's a million things that I can do now that I wasn't able to before.
But that's a perfect example
But I
of
think
something
that's
that
realistic.
might happen. So that's the limitation, and the task is the marathon, and the limitation is my hip. So this is something I can't do.
Don't want to do.
And that's something that
I probably can, but it risks some negative effects later
well, it
in the
won't
future.
in 5 years.
In decades.
It won't.
No, I'm
Well-
talking about like in decades. In like 30, 40, 50 years.
So like I'm
But in
saying
5
that
years,
it's
I'll
very
be
that
fine.
it is possible. I don't.
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but possible that in 5
Correct.
years you could call me up and say, Colin, I'm running a marathon, and I feel fantastic, and I want it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there are these things.
But at what cost, Colin?
Well, no, it wouldn't be at a cost. Like you would finish it and you'd feel fantastic, and you'd be like my hip doesn't hurt at all. Like there would be.
Yeah.
That's just an example. I don't think that's going to happen.
But like extrapolating that example into other aspects of reality, I understand what you're saying.
Do you play music at all? Do you play an instrument?
I played piano when I was like 10 years old, but yeah. No,
So I mean, like
don't play.
something, music that you might feel isn't necessarily your specialty. You might sit
No,
down.
I do understand completely what you're talking about with the limitations and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, anything associated with the hip is more kind of like practical. But you mean in terms of like a blanket psychology, like mindset, limiting mindset,
I'm saying
goes away after the body stops aching.
I'm saying in 5 years you might sit down to a piano and be like, holy shit, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and-
like I could play chords, and I kind of mix them together. I love piano. That's my favorite instrument.
It could be
Wow.
something that I think it's likely going to be
I
something
could become a DJ.
that is completely unexpected. That you're gonna call me up and you're gonna be like, Colin, I just got like a starring role in a Hollywood movie, that
would be cool.
starring with whatever.
Hey, it's like
It-
Elon Musk saw the podcast, and he's going to be on the podcast.
Or like something that you really had no plans of ever doing, and some avenues are gonna open. Some of this negativity is gonna be pushed aside, and some
I'm
new,
open to it, yeah.
and new avenues are gonna open up that you're gonna be like, holy shit, I actually can do this now.
I almost feel that doesn't exist per se. I feel like everything that happens is an association of our previous actions. Everything that happens in life is statistical.
Well, I think that
Like
there are
your decisions might increase or decrease the statistics. Like nothing is actually random, I think.
I think there are certain experiences that if you were left in your state right now and never changed, that there would be certain avenues that would never open up. And I think what I'm doing right now will eventually open up some avenues that were previously closed off. I don't,
Everything does. Any action, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I guess when I say that I'm excited, I mean, I literally think I'm going to get a phone call from you saying, you know, hey, Colin, I just opened a Lamborghini dealership, and you know,
Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, just something that's just completely off the wall that I would never expect from you, but you're enjoying it and people are loving it, and like
Yeah.
you know, you have like your friends driving around in Lamborghinis, and like you know, just having a grand old time. I'm just saying that like something like that
I,
is going to open up.
yeah.
I
Well,
know.
well, I do recognize your compliment, and I do appreciate that wholeheartedly, and I really do hope so. For, obviously,
Yeah, and I mean, I think
I
it's.
love positive things, and freedom is my priority. So.
I think it's something that you're likely not able to see right now. You said that you wanted to be a doctor, and that could totally be a possibility. But I think it's going to be something where it's going to be you're going to realize like, you know, holy shit, I can do, you know, blank. It's something that's not
Yeah.
uh, anything that you expected.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I do have pretty interesting plans for the next 5 years. I don't want to say them so I don't jinx it, but they're pretty big plans. This podcast is just one of the aspects of
What are? Do you
some
mind
of the
sharing
plans.
a little bit of it?
Um, I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
I realize like whenever I tell people like things that I want to be doing, they usually don't happen
Yeah.
because just the fact of saying it in my brain gives me that dopamine rush of living it almost.
I have
And
done
I'm like, oh well, I felt that high, so now I don't have to I don't feel motivated to continue.
I think you're
So I'm not gonna
completely
talk about
right,
it.
and this is a horrible thing that when people have ideas, plans, dreams, when they put it out there and start talking about it, for some reason it invites almost like sabotage or kind of like it starts getting messed up before it's even begun. And this is something that
Yeah.
I really want to understand because it's a problem because it what it does is it discourages a lot of people from. So if I'm excited about something, I want to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly the experience of it you're talking about when you have plans and ideas and you feel like you can't share it because it might get fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
it secludes people's experience. And for me personally, it makes me feel like the things that I want to do are like there's something wrong with them, or there's something that I need to be like ashamed of, or there's something that I need to like hide. And this is something that I think is a big problem. And like the things that you want to do, they you should be able to do them. Like that's a very meaningful experience for a human to you know to imagine something. So it's like when I was working with the guys from CBS, one of our conversations was about how quickly can you move something from abstract concept to reality. Like okay, so you're at a table brainstorming, you know, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. You know, this person will do this and this person will do that. How long can you get from that point to actually final product, you know, out into the world? And for these journalists, sometimes the turnaround is like less than 24 hours. Sometimes it's less than like 8 hours. For other projects, like for what I'm working on, it kind of like needs to just like take as long as it needs, which, you know, it could, you know, like 5 years is like what I'm saying, like actual concrete little things might start showing up, but it's like I'm used to like moving relatively quick when I talk about like the idea of doing a concert with someone. I want like the plans to be laid and the concert to be scheduled by the end of the day, and like we're ready to go. But what I'm working on now is something that is like a very slow moving, very
Organic.
yeah. I mean it's I don't even know if organic is the right word. It's something that is emotional, and it has to do with identity, with people's identity, and fucking with people's identity is a very it's not something. It's a very precious thing that should not be fucked with. and people's emotions are very precious things that should not be fucked with. And so it's a very sensitive, kind of difficult thing for me to plow through. So it's one of those things that's not going to move very quickly from imagination to reality. But it's the idea of people being able to...
it takes some time for that energy to settle on a topic, or
it takes time for things to actually
to go step by step.
Move from this point to this point.
Yeah, no, I understand that perfectly.
And a lot of times I feel like I'll be at this point and it'll suck, and I'll get things to this point, and then it just goes right back to this point, and then I'll get to this point, and then it just goes right back to this point.
Because you want it to be perfect.
Well...
And a lot of people are riding on...
Well, again, it has to do with identity, and so I think on a certain level...
You just want to get it right. You want to give it justice.
If I get it wrong, that it should be rejected.
Yeah.
And
it's the process. Maybe that's what you need, just to narrow it down.
Well, I would like to understand the situation better. I would like to. I wish I could devote. I wish I didn't have to play piano.
But I wish more people understood that this is a normal part of life. Not like the things that are rushed usually tend to be more haphazard.
And that's a big problem. I'm not able to really sit if I'm dealing with someone's pain and I'm kind of doing it on the fly. It's first of all, it's painful, and it's something that's tremendously meaningful to me, and I'm just kind of doing it totally doing it haphazardly. I wish I could really be garner some more support from the community on this, and be able to approach this with a calmer mind, and when I'm dealing with, I really don't like that I have to prioritize things like money and whatever, my own stupid things that I need to get done.
What kind of support from the community?
Well, right now I have a Patreon, so I get some money from Patreon.
You want to plug that?
It's patreon.com / everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great to get more support there.
Yeah. What do you focus your Patreon
on? Well, the talk that I give at the intro video is that there's a plaque on one of the benches in the park where a guy would sit and listen to me play, and he had horrible anxiety problems, and he ended up committing suicide. And that's a real, again, death. I don't like death. And so I'm really, when the family presented that to me, and they said he, had gone to all different psychologists and tried a lot of different kinds of medication, but coming here and listening to you play was one of the most beneficial things for him. But he still committed suicide. I kind of think I really wish I could have devoted more time and thought and energy to this, and he could still be alive. People say oh, Colin, don't blame yourself. I don't.
I've had a similar situation. I understand that feeling.
But I'm just saying that when I'm really able to devote my energy towards something like this. So
you want financial kind of freedom almost, less of that stress, so you can go out to the park and you can give people.
I don't want to be thinking about I need to get dental floss. Do I have $6 for dental floss?
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
So the Patreon is one way that people can support you.
Yeah, coming to the park and dropping money in the bucket. My Venmo is everything will be okay. It's just the 2-letter okay, not the 4-letter okay.
Yeah, this is for a really great cause.
It's like being able to not think about money and think about you or some other individual in my life. It puts me in a much calmer state where I'm not worried about losing my apartment or losing the storage unit where I keep the piano. If I don't have to worry about that stuff, it puts me in a calmer state of mind, and I can focus on more important things. I feel like one of the reasons that I have so much trouble with the negativity that's out there is because it forces me to put my focus in places that are it's like totally unproductive. I mean, like the most important thing in the world is this thing and this thing over here. The humans in my experience are the greatest things in the universe. Stuff, money, apartments. I mean, come on. It's all like yeah, we need it. Let's make sure we all have it. But I mean, these are the most important things that deserve the most attention and are gonna lift our experience to a higher level if we really
They create meaning.
make sure that these relationships are improved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm focusing on
A lot of people do Patreons and a lot of people do crowdfunding, and most of the time it's a very selfish cause. A lot of times people raise it for other people and things like that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that with you, what I really appreciate is that, there's a deep function for helping you that's outside of just helping you. You're really, by helping you, people are helping a lot of people.
Yeah, and I almost wonder if sometimes if people who have accepted that negativity is like
A norm?
a normal part of their life, that they see me as almost kind of like a threat or something like this. Sometimes I feel a bit of like I don't know, antagonism, or like a bit of like we're
Yeah.
and I'm trying to understand this negativity better to understand like.
Do you want me to try to explain it?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I think they see you as a crazy person, which is probably how you got the nickname and why it stuck, the crazy piano guy, because people do not understand, are completely, I think, ignorant, or they themselves have tried to do this but have been dissuaded through their environment, through their parents. Do not chase your dreams, get a 9 to 5, money is important. All of these values that they see throughout their lives just don't fall in line. Basically, they've been told that your values are not the correct way to live.
I think
they see you as a crazy person.
Yeah, I think you're both are right. I think both the things that you say are correct. And I think the only
and I'm not saying there's any right or wrong way to live. What I'm saying is that it's wrong to call other people crazy.
Well,
that's all.
I think the only solution that I can figure out myself is when I'm able to nurture enough positivity within myself and approach the negativity in these individuals, I'm able to better understand where it's coming from and how to get us both moving in a better direction that doesn't make them feel, imposed upon.
And I've seen the impacts that your performances and your energy have on other people. So I full-heartedly support your cause.
I think the kind of people that I'm connecting with generally in the park are people who are more like you, who are kind of like, I mean, you already have a relatively healthy, emotional, you have painful stuff, but it doesn't overwhelm you. You kind of, you work with the two, and then I'm here, and so it's all kind of working with one another. Your pain hurts me, by the way. I've been hurting this whole time.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's part of me.
Yeah.
Me connecting with people. Do you want me to try and just describe it?
Well, your pain hurts me too. So
okay, well,
I don't know if it's like a.
Can you describe what my pain is like?
It's very anxious.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's because I'm being hurt by you. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's insane. Because I don't feel like I'm hurting.
Your pain is something that you have a very high tolerance for.
Yeah.
I have a very low tolerance for it. So when I'm hurt, I'm constantly like, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah.
You have a very high tolerance for it.
Yeah.
And so you can remain calm even though you're in pain. and I found
like-
that
yeah.
the two.
But life is pain. So
Well,
it's
well,
like,
well. Listen,
you know,
like
whatever.
having a higher tolerance of pain is actually something that I need more of, and it's something I'm trying to figure out because it's actually something that will help me
Sure. Yeah.
help
It's helped me.
be a better
for sure.
part of these individuals' lives. I think the negative side is that it makes you accept things that you shouldn't accept.
Yeah.
And
I could see that.
for me, being super sensitive, it's negative because it makes me anxious because I'm always being hurt a lot. I'm not like an anxious person, but when I'm around other people and I'm being hurt by their stuff. It's I can't hide it. Like it's like ow 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 ow.
Yeah.
The positive side is that I can see very clearly the things in you that you shouldn't accept, and I can kind of point them out.
But the thing is, I think that we shouldn't reject them either.
Well,
We should acknowledge their existence, but we should just.
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what needs to be done with negativity.
I'm very Buddhist about it. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings, but you also shouldn't internalize them.
I mean, I'm telling you that there are painful things that you have accepted that, in order for you to.
I accept them as a part of my history, but I've let them go. I don't let them affect me.
I know they don't, but they're still there.
Of course, it's my history.
And they're still.
How can they not be there?
And they're still doing. They're still not doing damage isn't the right word, but they're limited. They're limiting you in some ways.
But I mean, they're also in their own kind of weird way making me better.
If you felt them the way that I feel them, like if you had my heightened level of sensitivity, you'd be like, I can't have these here. I can't have these here.
Yeah.
And again, I'm saying that like, I don't know what needs to be done. That's kind of up to you. But the word I've been using a lot lately is negativity. I think might be kind of like unresolved things, maybe things that you wanted when you were a child and didn't get, either experiences with love or I don't know, like anything, just like maybe like unfinished inclinations, things that you were excited about that somehow got cut off. I'm not entirely sure, but they need to have some kind of resolution to them, in order for your emotions to have a better flowing state.
I understand what you're saying, Colin, and I agree with what you're saying from like an objective standpoint, but realistically speaking, I just don't. There is no resolution to my pain, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to get into the details. It's extremely negative. I don't want to cause you any pain. But just trust me, I know for a fact there is no resolution.
And this is what this kind of dead end is what I come across.
But that's normal. I mean that's just like that's my path. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't cause me any pain, so why should it cause you pain?
Because you have a high tolerance and I have a low tolerance.
Because I don't let it affect me.
I know. Well, that's one of your. I don't have that option. To say like I don't let it affect me. I don't have that.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It affected me for 15 years. Like, it caused me a great amount of pain, but.
Well, I think I don't know how.
But I've learned to.
Yeah, I don't know how you developed it, but you did develop eventually a very high tolerance of pain that I was not able to develop.
Well, ketamine really helped me. It helps numb the pain in my brain. I had chronic, sharp pain in my brain for like a decade.
I feel like some of it was also just you.
I said it before. It's a combination of things, right?
And it's something that I think when I bring it up, people see it as like a criticism, and it's something that is like is a skill that I need to develop.
Not feeling the pain is a criticism, you're saying?
Well, like when I tell people like you have a very high tolerance of pain and it's made you accept things that I think if you had my sensitivity you would see as unacceptable. People are like, dude, it's a part of me, man, yo. This is like who I am.
Yeah.
Are we
How
done?
are we doing on time? Oh,
You
okay.
gotta start rapping.
Yeah, okay. I thought we had until 9:30.
No, at 9.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Start rapping, please.
Yes. Excellent. Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah, I didn't realize it was already 9 o'clock. We really kept it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do an intro at the beginning. So for anyone wondering who Colin Huggins is, you have to watch to find out.
Okay. But do
Um,
you see how talking about negativity is tough, and it almost creates like a bit of like friction between us.
Well, yes.
It's very mysterious to me. It's a very mysterious thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, maybe I'm just choosing to be negative to avoid confronting the things that are causing me pain because they're just so painful.
Yeah, I mean, I think you developed a high tolerance because they were too much to deal with.
Like a coping mechanism. Maybe negativity is a coping mechanism.
I don't know if it's a coping. I mean, like,
Maybe you
I mean-
should ask them what causes them pain.
I mean, you have to figure out how to function. I mean, you have to figure out how to day to day do your thing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And-
I don't
and-
think about it.
And like, I think sometimes we make, and we have natural abilities. Like I think my natural ability is that I have a very high sensitivity,
Yeah.
and I think people should start learning how to appreciate that I can point out stuff that they've just kind of like accepted.
Yeah.
And it's eventually it's going to be a matter of learning how to take those two abilities and get them to work together.
Yeah.
And it's something that when I bring it up, it often creates like a feeling of friction. And I'll say, dude, like, this is a problem. And they'll just be like, like, come on, man. Like just be chill. Like,
Yeah.
and it's something that I'm trying to figure out how to, like, get those, like, two abilities, two very different kind of abilities on like, polar opposites to be able to work towards a similar goal.
Well, if anyone could do it, I know that you can.
We'll see. We'll see.
Colin, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for spending the time with me.
Yeah, man.
Go support this man. Go patreon.com/everything will be okay.
Give me your money, which makes things easy.
Give us your music.
I totally-
Spread the positivity and the love.
I totally walked in and like I took a pin. I thought it was one of pins like that you
Oh,
put like this,
stab
and
yourself.
I stabbed myself and I was bleeding.
It'll heal.
All right.
All right.
Well, I hope
Good.
that we get some views.